Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Paint Along with Skye. Today I'm going to be walking you step by step through a lovely acrylic painting called Rainbow Sunrise. Take you every single step of the way, so please take a moment to pause, P-A-W-S, Paint Along with Skye. I'm going to show you the setup here before we jump into it. So, of course, I have my paint palette. I have a kind of fancy acrylic palette here. An alternative that you can use that's budget friendly is just a paper plate. The ones that are sort of coated with a little bit of a plastic film work perfectly. I have all of my different colors here laid out. This is a full spectrum. So I have a nice bright red, I have a beautiful sunny yellow, a nice orange. This is actually a phthalo green, which you'll see once we mix it. So that's not a true green, that's the green that has a little bit of blue in it. And it's going to turn into this beautiful turquoise color once we get started. I have this nice bright blue, purple, violet, and then of course black and white. And I also have a brown. I'm keeping it really simple today, and we're not going to mix colors from primaries, although of course you can. Just work with the primary colors if you want to challenge yourself. But I specialize in teaching classes for beginners. So this is going to be really, really simple class today, and I do recommend that you paint along. It's fun, of course, to watch me, but I highly recommend creativity is good for the soul. I think art is for everybody, and if you paint along today and get a finished painting, you're going to get an A from this art teacher. A for art. Okay, so I've been teaching painting for about 10 years. Actually since my early 20s. It's been a decade. I was teaching in the sipping and painting sect of the art world, which is where you drink wine while you paint. If you would like a little bit of liquid creativity, by all means, it is about 10 o'clock in the morning where I am here, so I'm just drinking coffee. You're also going to want to get your water cup set up. Actually, I already have my brushes in here. I'll show you what brushes we're going to be using today as well. So water cup with paper towels. I usually like to use a couple paper towels. That's off the screen. I have my table papered here. This is just my kitchen counter. You don't need to set up a super fancy art studio or even use an easel. Honestly, as beginners, I find that not using an easel is a little bit easier. Easels have a tendency to knock over. It's a little bit trickier to hold your hand in that position as well if you're not used to it. So right on the table is totally fine. I have some nice parchment paper down as well. You can use newspaper if you want. I have very affordable paints from my local craft store. Nothing fancy, okay? When I first started painting, I remember I bought myself a TV tray. It was in a tiny, tiny studio apartment. It was literally a laundry room, converted laundry room that I lived in with my ex. Oh, it was so tiny, and I was determined to be an artist regardless. Artists can paint anywhere, so I got myself a TV tray and about maybe $50 worth of art supplies and got started. So please paint along. I encourage you to try. You don't have to be good to enjoy something. Okay, and you get better with time. It's really just about passion and practice. Okay, so 3 brushes that we're going to use today. I have a flat brush that it's pretty wide. It's for coverage. You can also use a brush like this, which is a flat square brush. That's totally fine as well. Since I'm using a smaller canvas today, I decided to use a slightly smaller flat brush. So whatever you're comfortable with. I find that smaller brushes typically give you more control. Put that in my water cup. And then I have a round pointy brush. This is my favorite. I love brushes like this. They're so versatile. It's my favorite. And then a baby brush for the details. This is a great brush for watercolor as well. I love my tiny brush. It's so pleasing. Oh, it's the best. It is a little bit bent on the end, and that's okay. They're not brand new. Nothing super fancy. It's okay. Art is for everybody. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Jump into it. So, I'm going to take this version and put it somewhere that I can see. Perfect. Okay. All right, and I'm going to be using my large brush to get started. So the biggest brush, and on this painting I'm going to work from the top down. And I'm going to start with a beautiful light lavender. So I take the paint and kind of bring it to the side of where the majority of the paint is. And I'm going to add a little bit of white, never mixing all of the paint. So I'm going to use that again, especially that white. I'm going to use a lot of white. Okay, and you can certainly create this painting as like a vibrant rainbow without using the white, but because it was originally a watercolor and that's the version that was super popular on social media, I decided to create one that sort of mimics watercolor, but rather than watering down the acrylic paint, I'm using a lot of white. If you water down acrylic paint, it can have that sort of watercolor effect, but a lot of times the paint will flake off because it's too watered down and it doesn't bind to the canvas properly. So instead we'll use lots of white. Okay, and I'll show you how, don't worry. So this is just a regular old primed canvas that I got from the craft store, and I didn't have to gesso, it's pre-gessoed. And I'm going to take my light purple and I'm going to go back and forth across just the top layer here. And we're going to just start there, real simple. That's the hardest part of any painting, is the first brush stroke. The hardest part of this channel was making this first video. Okay, I'm rinsing the purple out of my brush. And I'm going to show you guys a really easy gradation. That's just going to go from purple to a lighter purple, or light purple to even lighter purple, rather. So now I'm walking my way over there to my white, and I'm going to take a white or purple that's almost white, and go right underneath that first stripe and blend them together. So a lot of times I'll see beginners do a stripe of really light purple next to a stripe of just light purple. Don't be afraid to actually go into the other color. That is the idea here. That's how you're going to get the colors to blend. Do not fear. Be brave. Okay, and now I'm rinsing my brush and I'm going to do another color in the same way. So this time I'm going to use pink. And pink is just red and white. Trying to keep that white somewhat clean. Okay, very nice. Okay, and I'm going to do a few, like a brush stroke over here, and then I think I might go even further down to kind of break it up, like so. Again, rinsing my brush because I'm doing really light colors. Don't want it to get too dark or saturated. Now I'm just going to take regular old white and go right over the areas that are white to help it blend in with the pink. Okay. It's always sort of a play. I love painting sunsets. It's one of my favorite things to paint. And when you get the hang of it, it's really, really simple. Really just a few back and forth brush strokes with some beautiful sunset colors. We're not getting muddy with our colors by going across the color wheel, so it's pretty safe and pretty successful typically to create beautiful sunrises, I suppose, in this respect. In my imagination, this is like a sunrise, maybe on an East Coast beach. Maybe it's oh gosh, I don't know, Key West. Okay, and now I'm going to finish off the top part of my sky here, and I'm going to essentially cut the canvas right in half, because this bottom half is going to be where my ocean is and my shoreline. So I'm kind of already envisioning putting myself into the painting. I'm going to take a little bit of orange this time. I'm actually going to just bring it over here. You know, get crazy on your palette. There's no rules. Only rule is to jump in and get creative. Okay. And I think I'm actually going to add a little bit of yellow to make it a little bit more vibrant. I like that color. Okay. And now I'm going to just go right across the canvas with this orange. Okay. I know I go pretty fast. Feel free to pause the video. My dog is coughing. Sorry, I have an adorable elderly Pomeranian. He's 14. Well, he turned 14 this month. Yes, didn't you, baby? Shh, shh, go lay down. Okay, and I've taken that orange. It's beautiful because it wasn't over mixed here in my light yellow orange color. So I have some nice variations already, but I'm also going to take some yellow and kind of sneak that in between here. Oh yeah, I like that. That looks really nice. Not too far up. Okay, all right. Go lay down, baby. You're okay. All right, I'm pretty pleased with my sunrise so far. It's always easy to overmix things or for it to get too stripy. So you want there to be sort of a happy medium in there where you see all the different colors, but they're also blended together still. Okay, moving right along, we're going to do something similar here and complete our beautiful full spectrum pastel rainbow. Okay, my favorite color. Time to use some of this teal. So I pulled it over again to a different side of my palette. A little heavy on the green there. There we go. I'm gonna go a little bit lighter. I knew I'm gonna need more white. Okay, that looks good. I definitely recommend adding white to this color because otherwise it does look really dark green. Okay, and now I'm going to, as straight as I can, go right across the canvas. Nice. I'm going to do a few brush strokes of that color, and I'm actually going to create like a diagonal. This is how we're going to start to get the effect of the waves coming at us, lapping as if we're walking along the beach at sunrise. Oh, I love sunrise. I'm an early riser. I remember seeing the sunrise in Cancun. Kind of reminds me of this. Okay, and then a light blue. Blue and white, real simple, just mixing all of our colors with white. Okay. And now with this blue, I'm going to create a curved line that goes from about this corner, a little bit further up from that corner, up to a few inches down from the horizon line. Something that you can do if you feel nervous is to create a dot here, and then create a dot here, and then connect the two. We do want to create like a little bit of a curve. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Just grabbing a little bit more blue paint, and now I'm just going to do some stripes, working my way up to that green and into the green. Beautiful. Okay, I'm just going to take what's left of my white. Yeah, that's blue. Okay, gonna need more white. This is looking really nice. Okay, just gonna grab pure white with my brush. I've rinsed most of the blue out. And what you want here is to have it sort of stripy with white and blue. That's gonna give the really subtle but pretty illusion of some waves. Nice. I like how I pulled a little bit of that green in accidentally. Really light touch here. Less is more. Don't need to overwork this painting at all. Okay, now I've rinsed my brush. I'm pretty happy with the way that this is looking. I might add a little bit of white in a moment to make it look like the frothy edges of the waves. But I'm going to kind of let this dry for a second and paint this last area while I wait. Okay, so I'm just going to create a beautiful sand color with my brown and a little bit of yellow and a fair amount of white. Nice. Okay, not over mixing again. I'm just going to fill in that sand color. I think I want it a little bit lighter. Beautiful Mexican or Key West beach. Light sand. Beautiful. Bringing it right to our shoreline. Very nice. I think I'm going to grab a little bit of white and just add some texture in there. Break it up. Really very subtle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and retire my big brush. Honestly, this is beautiful already. At any point, you can stop. You can create just a full gradation for practice. You can create, this is a beautiful, sunrise, kind of like slightly stylized, an artistic version of a sunrise, but I'm going to create a little bit more depth with the black elements that I'm adding in a moment. But before we do that, you might want to give it another extra minute to dry, but I'm just going to be impatient. And I'm going to use my medium brush and a little bit of white. And I'm going to go right along the shoreline. There we go. And just create a little bit more definition. Okay, that was obviously very subtle. Okay, and now for the piece de la resistance of the painting, which is going to be our boat and birds. So again, I'm just going to take a look at my original. Looking pretty cute. I like them. So I'm going to show you guys this shape, and then also just birds are really, really, really easy to add into any seascape to make it look really cute. I've been doing that since I was a little kid. Okay, let me show you how to create a boat. Now, you're certainly welcome to not add this if you'd like. You can also practice on your papered table a couple times before you add the boat. It's very nerve-wracking to apply black straight onto your beautiful masterpiece that you just created and spent so much time blending. So by all means, practice a couple times or just do a couple birds. That's fine too. You could also do like an island out here. I'm originally from Santa Barbara, where we have the Channel Islands. So I always like to put little islands out to remind me of where I grew up. Whatever you like. So first, real easy, just a couple birds. They're just like flat M's. Okay. Cute. And now just a little boat. Okay. I'm actually going to use one of my arms to sort of brace my other arm and like hold it like this. I'm going to put my elbow down onto my table and brace myself. Brace yourselves, everybody. Okay, and make sure you don't have a drip on your brush. That's the worst thing ever when you're doing details and a drip comes off your brush. Okay, so I'm going to draw a straight line up and down from the yellow or orange down into my green. Okay, nice. Start small. You can always make it longer, but you can't make it shorter. Okay, and then create like a long upside down T. Okay. And then on one side, it's going to be a little bit more tapered and then sort of rounded at the other side. I don't know what that looks like, but it is the whole of our little boat here. Filling that in. Beautiful. Okay. I'm just going to do a line now that would connect, like the sails are down. So I'm going Go from the top here of the mast. Ooh, a little wobbly. That's scary. And then in the back here, I'm just going to create a rectangle and another line. This probably is not what a sailboat actually looks like. This is the suggestion of a sailboat. Okay, bring this mast up a tiny bit more. Okay. And then to make it look like it's actually floating in the ocean, we're going to do these little horizontal lines that come out from either side of the base here. And then a few more brush strokes, like so, underneath, and then, oh, our mast is right there. So we're going to shadow the mast like that. Okay, I think that looks really cute. I'm very pleased with it. It's a little bit different than my original. Always is. I can see that I added even more white in my original. So if you'd like it to be more pastel, by all means, add a little bit more white. But I'm very happy with the version that I created today as well. Alright, so if you enjoyed today's tutorial, please hit subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when I post new videos. I'm going to be posting a video every weekend, so please stay tuned for more. Follow on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Paint Along with Skye. If you'd like to support the channel, I've launched a Patreon where I'm going to be posting special tips, tricks, tutorials, and Q&As. Very fun stuff. I also have a print shop where you can buy the original version of this painting, as well as other great art and merch by yours truly. So all the links are going to be in the description box below. And I had a lovely time. I hope you guys did as well. And if you do want to share what you've created today on Instagram, use the hashtag paintalongwithskye. I'd love to check them out and maybe give you a shout out as well. When you're finished with your painting, make sure and sign it however you'd like. Later too, you can also paint the sides of the canvas if you wish. I like to paint them maybe with black, white, or gray, or you can also pop it in a frame. Or you can paint it over white and use the canvas again if you don't like it. It's really just a matter of practice. The longer you paint, the more dexterity you'll get, and the less block there will be from what you want to paint and what your hand is actually doing. Okay, so I think that's all for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.